Coming up next, I'm going to tell you how to never get left behind in your career, and then why U.S. companies can't find qualified workers. Plus, we take your calls, and it all starts right now. All right, here we go. I'm coming to you live from our Ramsey Solutions studios in Nashville, and you have joined a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you can do that, and then how to get there. That is a journey that I like to refer to as from paycheck to purpose. What if work is something you were created to do, not just this thing you do to live, to pay the bills? I think that's what it is. No, I don't think that. I know that. And I'm willing to convince you along the way. I believe you were created to contribute. Now, when I say it that way, it's a little easier for some of you to grab that. If I say you were created to work, you're like, hey, easy, man. I don't know about this workaholic stuff. I didn't say that. I said you were created to work, to create, to contribute. You were given 3 gifts by your Creator: talent, passion, and mission. Talent's what you do best. Hard skills, soft skills. Passion, this is you love certain types of work. You think about it, you get excited. When you're in the middle of it, time seems to disappear. And then all of us have a missional component to who we are. A mission, meaning there are results that we see in the world, that we create in the world, and that fills our heart. So the work is passion, the work we love, and then the results that we want to create, that's the mission. So when we use what we do best, talent, to perform work we love, passion, to produce results that matter to us, mission, then we're in that sweet spot or a contribution zone. And that is living and working on purpose. If you think about how much time you'll spend at work in your life, why in the world would you just be okay with a okay job? It's okay. Pays the bills. I don't love it. I don't hate it. Some of you hate your job. And so we're looking at purpose in your work. Now, we'll discuss relationships because some of you are being held back by relationships. Some of you are being held back by finances. So we'll talk about the financial factors as well. But no matter who you are, you're welcome here because you have to show up and be the best version of you. Because somebody's on the other end of that work. And when you figure that out and all the different ways you can do it, significance is the result, and success and satisfaction come with that. 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577. Coming up, I was scribbling right here. Nathan, can we zoom in on this? I know it's always hard, but I just want people to see this. Well, I got to turn it this way. There we go. You can just see that right there. Just there it is. There it is. That's all I'm going to show you. Just a couple of notes scribbled on a piece of moleskin paper. And this is some new teaching. And it came out of a meeting this morning with the team. And this teaching right here, later in the program, this is meant for those of you out there who feel like you're still in the cave of shame because maybe you've had some financial failure, some relationship failure, maybe some moral failure, maybe even legal failure. And you feel like life has put you on the shelf. And maybe some of you that are watching, whether you're live with us right now at 12:04 Eastern Standard Time, or you're watching later, you've got some friends or family members or coworkers that are in this cave of shame. I want to talk about the power of restoration and how purpose can be restored because it's really never gone anywhere. It just needs to be restored. I'm going to talk about what I've learned in my life on this. And I'm very excited about it. So that's coming up. But first, great article by Mark Manson, well-known author. He's got a podcast. He likes to use the old dirty words, so I can't tell you the name of his book. But this is an article from his newsletter that my brain leader Damon gave me, and there's some good stuff in this. And so we tease this, how to not get left behind. You know, what is the secret? And so as he sets up the newsletter, he talks about a friend of his, how they were together talking about two groups of people in their lives. People who had grown stagnant, In other words, they weren't changing, they weren't progressing in their lives. And then people who were not stagnant, people who were moving up, making things happen, progressing. And so as they began to discuss it and they looked at both groups of people, there was one factor that was extremely evident as to why one group was not progressing and then why the other group was progressing. And he says it's intense curiosity. And I smiled big when Damon gave me this. I could not agree with Mark Manson anymore. He's absolutely right. That's why I wrote my first book, One Question, which you can get, by the way. We don't talk about it ever. What a wonderful little book it is. You can get it at RamseySolutions.com in the bookstore. I wrote it before I came to Ramsey Solutions. But I highlighted in that book the power of one question to change your life. And the whole point of the book was illustrating that one question can reveal unbelievable knowledge and wisdom. And because of the power of one question, you need to develop a habit of insatiable curiosity. That's why I wrote that book. So when I read this article, I'm like, man, Mark is absolutely right. I couldn't agree more. But here's some context of why that insatiable curiosity, which, by the way, everybody is born with. It's why a toddler, it's why 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds ask hundreds and hundreds of questions a day. They're not trying to annoy you, mom and dad. They're just trying to get to the bottom of it. Why? You answer that. Why? You answer that. Why? But somewhere along the way, that curiosity gets beaten out of us. And that's a cultural thing. Manson says in this newsletter, the 20th century did not reward curiosity. He's absolutely right again. Think about this. The traditional structures of schools, corporations, and even religious institutions, the church, did not foster curiosity. In fact, they deterred it. Questioning, experimenting, it was a fearful thing. Any sort of innovation or experimentation was limited to a few people. Everyone else, you just be the good worker bee. Now, what's the key then? What's the key to fostering and applying curiosity? Let's talk about the fostering part. It's not just about learning. You know, I think learning is the key, but it's also, okay, I'm going to learn some things that are outside of my natural, let's call it, default. So if I grew up in an evangelical home, I'm not saying that you question everything in your faith and that you go study Eastern religions. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that that's an example, whether it be faith or religion, politics, the way you see the world as it relates to work. Hello? I'm challenging many people's assumptions on work because I dove into it and really began to dive in and ask questions. Why do we work the way we work? I'm challenging a lot of assumptions on education on this show. I'm not going to stop. Why do we educate our children in America and in the Western Hemisphere the way we do? It's outdated. It's not working. Uh-oh, that's a separate topic. I won't dive into that one today. So the idea here is that I'm going to be curious to even ask myself, why do I believe what I believe? Let's talk about race for a second. As a white man, hey, I'm not ashamed of being white. I'm not walking around going, oh, no. But hey, I need to be sitting around talking to people of multiple races, not just my African-American friends, about the experience in America. I mean, look, I don't have to all of a sudden just drop everything that I've always believed, but I can be curious. I can be intentionally curious to read things I haven't read before, to listen to things I haven't listened to before, to watch things, to have conversations that I haven't had before. I still have my core beliefs. It doesn't mean that I don't have any bedrock beliefs or principles. No, I do. But this insatiable curiosity isn't just growing professionally, it's also growing personally. So on the professional side of things, hey, if I'm not growing, learning new things, if I'm not learning about where technology's headed and how it might affect me, how does AI affect me in my career, in my line of work? How do behavioral trends and things that are changing with these new generations? Now we've got Gen Z, the mosaics, They're coming into the workforce. If I'm a leader, how do they, and the way they see the world, how are they going to change the workplace? And I need to always be curious is the point. And sometimes it's not comfortable to be curious about things that maybe we don't know much about, or that maybe we go, well, I disagree with that. Great. Like, I'm just going to tell you right now, it's really good to sit down if you're a conservative and talk to progressive friends. Don't get into debate and argue, because I got news for you. You're not going to change their mind. So if you think about it, what are you scared of? They're not going to change your mind. I've never seen two friends argue over politics and they both walk away going, I completely agree with you now. It never happens. So what are we worried about? It's not about winning the argument. It's about, I just want to understand where you're coming from. So being curious. This idea of waking up every day and habitually going, how am I going to be curious today? What do I need to learn about? And as a professional, you need to be learning about new tools, new techniques, new offerings, new ways of marketing, new ways of saying something. If you're curious and you're not learning just to attain knowledge, but you're applying that curiosity, you will never be stuck and left behind. You will always be growing by being curious. The way I wrote about it in that book, One Question, was get your antenna up. Get your antenna up. Always be observing, always be learning, always be asking, and you'll find that growth will accelerate as a result of increasing your curiosity. You show me a man or woman who's intentional about curiosity, and I'm going to show you a man or woman who will continue to evolve. They will continue to grow. There's just no stopping them. 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577. All right, I got my pencil. And Josiah is on the line in Robinson, Illinois. Josiah, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken Coleman. How are you doing?
I'm living the dream. How are you, sir?
I'm blessed with every spiritual blessing in the heavenly places.
Well, that's not a bad thing right there. That's not bad at all. How can I help you?
Well, right now I'm working 2 jobs, and I'm feeling kind of burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of wanting to go the next few steps to become a Bible college professor and pastor. I mean, I'm working right now. I'm working right now at a factory full time, and I'm also I'm paid as a part-time pastor, but I work as a full-time pastor. I don't know if you ever heard of that situation before.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, my dad was bivocational for 47 years, and a lot of small church pastors are full-time, even though technically it's part-time. My guess is it's a smaller church.
Yeah, it's about like 30 people.
Yeah, are you in the role of senior pastor, or is it a part-time interim teaching pastor? What's the status?
It's full-time senior pastor. They actually do give me a parsonage to live in, which is that's a blessing. We were able to move down here and
great,
closer to my factory job.
And how much are you earning between both jobs?
Right now I'm at the factory job. I make about $50 a year. And then at the part-time pastoring job, I make about $200 a week plus they pay utilities.
Okay, so it's really $200 a week that's what you're getting.
Yeah,
because they're paying for utilities plus the parsonage. So on a given month, normal 4-week month, you're making $800. On a 5-week month, you're making $1,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So I understand your destination that you want to be in is you want to be a full-time professor at a Bible college. So
that and a pastor.
Well, you've already got one, so that's good news. And you want to know next steps.
I'm working on my MDiv at Liberty University.
Okay.
I know it's kind of a side note, but I also have written 3 books on how to study the Bible.
Great.
Called the Using Hermeneutics series.
Right. So what are the qualifications for you to be a professor at a Bible college?
Well, I need to get to be the lowest rung professor at a Bible college, you at least need your Master of Theology, and MDiv is a step above that.
Okay, good. So the
I know
MDiv gets you that qualification.
it at least gets me the
Entry level.
it gets me entry level.
Okay. What's the entry level? Have you done your homework to get a good idea of what entry level Bible professor looks like? Bible college professor?
I haven't really
Got to do it.
yeah.
Got to do it. You don't know what you're aiming for. You kind of do, but you really don't. And so you've got to know what's realistic here. What does entry level professor look like? And then you got to then you go, okay, let's say that pays on average. I'm doing some research that pays on average 40 to 45. So then you would have to have so let's say you get hired at a Bible college and you just pick anywhere in the country. I'm assuming you're open to going anywhere God leads on this. You should be. And so you go there, and so now you would have to make up your 50 plus your you got to figure out what you can live on. Could your wife work? But you've got to sit down and get really, really practical here, so that you know what this looks like. And so, because you could be a Bible college professor, and have a small church pastorate that maybe pays you better than what you're getting paid right now. But even if you're getting paid 30, you're more than you're getting paid now. I think I'm trying to do the math on that. 800 times 12 is only $9,600. So, getting 25 or 30 is a pay raise, even if you got the 40 to 45. So getting that in your head to go, okay, hey, there's a path here. You got to have that, because when somebody calls me and tells me they're burned out, that you're not burned out. You're talking to me. That means your flame is alive. You're alive. The minute you slip into eternity, you're burned out. I think you're just exhausted, and I think you're down because you're like, I know what I want to do, but I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I've been working this factory job for 6 years. After losing a previous pastorate.
Yeah, you're down. So that's the issue. You lost a previous pastorate. I'm not going to make you unpack that. But you're still hurting from that. True or false?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, God's been really good to me and helped me forgive the people who did what they did.
Good. But that's made you better, and the reality is your goal is to be full-time Bible college professor and really, truly a part-time pastor. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not disqualified. Nobody cares that you were at a church, and you're at a church now. So to somebody who's looking at you as a potential professor, if you've got the MDiv and you've got the relationships, you've already got all the experience that is going to help you as a Bible professor. So this is about getting serious about, all right, once I finish the MDiv, I'm ready to roll. And I start making the connections now. And I'm going to give you a copy of my #1 best-selling book called The Proximity Principle, if you don't already have it. Do you have the book?
No, but I was really wanting it.
Well, today's your lucky day. If that's why you called, you suckered me into it, but I'm happy to do it. So I'm going to give you, Amanda, in just a moment, will pick you up, and you will get whatever format you want, but you have got to read it and do it. It is a practical guide for you to connect, so that once the MDiv is done, you've already got some job offers. That's our goal. Okay?
I appreciate that. I didn't hear about the book, but I wanted some advice on these next few steps. I know I need to get in contact with people who are Bible college professors.
Yes.
Maybe have coffee with someone.
Starting today. I mean, you're talking to everybody you know in ministry around the country, and most of them probably have some connection somehow to a Bible college somewhere. And you're on the way to the MDiv. When are you done with the MDiv?
Next year.
Okay, great. So you got 12 months, man, to make connections and get yourself ready. And you're ready to go. And you're going to change your attitude towards the warehouse job or the factory job. You're going to change your attitude about it. Your soul has been sucked out of you. I get it. But now you're going to go, thank you, Lord. Thank you for giving me a stable factory job. And I am going to change my attitude towards it, because it is what is sustaining us. It is providing for us. Thank you for giving me a pastorate where I can still preach the word, and I got my utilities paid for, and I'm getting a decent little cash stipend is what that basically amounts to. and you and your wife get together and go, we're moving forward on this. We're not gonna wallow in our pain. Not that you have been, but we're not worried about what happened to us at the last church. What God meant unto me for evil, finish it. What he meant unto me for evil, you finish it, Pastor.
Yeah, God meant it for good.
Yeah, sorry, I confused everybody when I got so excited, right? But
yeah, that was Joseph. Yeah,
it was. I know. He's talking about when his brothers show up, right?
Yeah.
And he looks at his brothers. His brothers are scared to death. He's going to kill them. Oh, Pastor, I know where that's from. I know what it means. I want you to remember it. Maybe preach that to yourself in the car on the way to the factory. Here's the point. You have everything you need. I'm giving you the book, which is the plan. You and your wife sit down and commit and pray that we're going to get serious about this. And Lord willing, a year from now, we are on our way somewhere, or we are in the process of finding out that new destination. And you change your attitude towards this factory job, and you just doing these mundane things. Well, you need to be thinking about how you're going to teach and what you're going to do and what kind of professor you're going to be and what kind of pastor you're going to be. And you keep loving on this flock right now, and you put some boundaries up. If you feel like it's a full-time job because you're exhausted, that's what this is about. Your soul is getting sucked out at the factory and you're tired. That's a bad combination. So you need to sit down with this church and go, hey, I got a full-time job, as you know. And then here's the amount of hours I've been putting, here's what I'm doing. Listen, guys, I'm not asking for more money. But this is a part-time gig, and I've been treating it full-time, and I can't do that. I won't be serving you well, nor will I be serving my family and ultimately the Lord well if I'm flaming out. And so you set some boundaries. And you need to lead right now and go, look, I've been doing this. I can't do this anymore because you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can make those changes. And don't put all this false narrative that God wants you to work full-time hours when you're a part-time pastor. No, he doesn't. So don't. Hang on the line. Let's get him whatever version of the proximity principle he wants. By the way, for the rest of you, if you want the book, you can get all 3 formats for one price at kencoleman.com in the store. And again, I wrote this book because I wanted to give people a very easy to understand and very practical guide that you can implement to get where you want to go. Now, this book is for people who know where they want to go. I'm writing the other book. It's done, and we're baking it right now and doing all the final touches. It's coming out in November. You'll hear more, obviously, in the days and weeks and months ahead. I'm also developing an assessment right now that will allow you to go online, Think Strength Finder, something like that, and you can get clear on talent, passion, and mission. We're developing these tools. I can't wait for them to come out. But for those of you who know where you want to go, but you're not sure how to get there and you're scared, the proximity principle is the guide up the mountain. It's the book on how to truly get connected so that opportunities knock on your door. That's a fabulous book and an easy read. 844-747-2577 is the number. Let's go to Ian, who joins us in Baltimore, Maryland. Ian, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm living the dream. What's up with you?
Well, I was hoping you could help me guide my life right now. My situation is I'm having a midlife crisis. Just turned 32. Me and my family moved to Baltimore about a year ago.
You just turned, hold on a second. You just turned how old?
Yeah. 32.
Okay, well, first of all, you're not having a midlife crisis. Keep going.
We're currently on baby step number 3B, and so my wife's a full-time worker, and we're trying to get her to be part-time so that we can share responsibility taking care of 2 kids that are under 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm planning to go back to the work field in the next month or 2.
Are you unemployed right now?
Currently, yes, I'm a stay-at-home dad, so it's kind of a weird situation. I've never been a stay-at-home dad before.
How long have you been a stay-at-home dad?
Yeah, since we moved here, which was about since last May. And so I've been working from home when allowed on a contract basis, but I haven't, gone back to the actual work field. And so now that we're planning for me to go back to work, I'm just figuring out what career or what what job or what. Basically, I'm just trying to figure out what to do when I get back,
All right. So before we start to break down the sweet spot and look at your talent, passion, mission, I think you've got some ideas. I think you have wondered about things maybe when you were younger, maybe even a teenager, maybe in your young 20s, maybe even yesterday, and maybe even right now. So I want to take all the qualifications conversation out of it. I want to take out connections. I just want to know, Ian, what would you try tomorrow if you knew it was a done deal? I just, put you in the place and you're doing the work. You don't have to commit to it for the rest of your work life, but you can't fail and it's going to pay you what you want to make. What would you try?
Well, I've always liked the fact of helping improving people's situations. Knowing that, the baby steps that we've gone through, I've just seen it. And even growing up, I like helping people improve, their lifestyle.
All right, so stop. This is great. You're doing really good. You're letting your heart flow. I need you to go 4 levels deeper, and I'm going to guide you and interrupt you to get you there. When you were growing up, you just said when you were growing up, you always liked helping people. Who? Describe their circumstance.
Well, when I was in college, I helped a lot of people get physically fit. So eating healthy, just the financial and the health and fitness side.
Good.
I've been in athletics. And then when I graduated college, I guess kind of got to the point where I was interested about personal finance, and that's how I got into Dave Ramsey. So I got into doing insurance, and that kind of led me to help people a lot.
Good.
And I love improving people's finances.
There we go. Well, I think you do, but I think it's even bigger than that. I think no, I'm serious. I want you to grab this. I think there's a bigger theme here. I'm going to jump ahead to mission for a second. I'm going to take a stab at what I think I heard, and I want you to tell me if I'm right or wrong. And trust me, it will not hurt my feelings nor throw me off track if you think I'm wrong. But I want to see if I've got something here. So for the rest of the audience that may be new to me and what's going on here, there are 3 gifts the creator of the universe gave everybody. Talent, think hard skills, soft skills. Then passion is you just love a certain type of work or task or a role. You just do. You think about it, you get juiced. When you're in the middle of it, you got the juice and time seems to disappear. And then finally is mission. See, all of us long to make a difference. That's what we all long for. Well, then we got to say, okay, well, how do we begin to identify the difference that we want to make? Okay, and so we look at who are the people we most want to help. All right? And so Ian wanted to help people with their health. Then he realized, I want to help people with their finances. Oh, okay, good. So what's the theme there? What are the results that Ian wants to produce in this world? That's mission. So you're in your sweet spot when you use your talent to perform your passion to produce your mission. Ian, you understand that, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Makes a lot of sense. So I think you get juiced. The missional results for you. I think you have a lot of people skills. Is that true or false?
That is absolutely true.
It's absolutely true, which means you not only are good with people, you actually love to work with people. Is that true or false?
That is what my mother says, and that is also true. Yeah.
That is true. So what are the results you want to create most for people? And I think, and I like to use one word here to kind of make it simple. I think you want to influence people. And influencing means you want to influence change and progress in their lives, whether it be physical health or financial health. Is that true or false?
Yes, I was thinking coaching.
Yeah, no, hold on. Yeah, you don't get ahead of me now. You're not allowed to get ahead of me. I'm talking about the results you want to see. I'm not talking about the work. I'm going to get to that in a second. I mean the results. You're about influence. If you see positive influence in somebody's life as a result of your work, that gives you juice. True or false?
That is true.
Absolutely. And if you can bring a solution to people who are struggling with a problem that then leads to that influence, you also get equal amount of juice. True or false?
Most definitely.
Yeah. So the results that matter most to you are people solutions and influencing those people, right? You influence them with the solutions. See, because that's where the personal training, physical fitness comes in, and that's where also the financial fitness comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And you got ahead of me, and I'm glad you did, the work that you love. without a doubt, is coaching. Without a doubt. Which means you got to have the talent of communication. Do you have that? Yes, you do.
Yes, I do.
You got to have the talent of connection. This is true connection with people. You have that. I think you got to have the talent of compassion. I think you got that. Is that true?
I try to be, yes.
Yeah. So, and I also think you have the talent of persuasion. Is that true or false?
Yep, I've done a lot of sales jobs, so yes.
All right, so that verifies that, yes, you have what it takes to coach. You love coaching. You love, and I would call that teaching. You love solving problems for people. There's a bit of a counselor in you as well. And I think that now you know that I need to be in a role where I am instructing, coaching, guiding, counseling. That's the role. And you can do that in a lot of different ways, whether it's finances, fitness, health and nutrition, a lot of different ways. So you not having a midlife crisis, you're just in a role as a stay-at-home dad because you're a good dude, but you're not cut out to be a stay-at-home dad. It's not your jam. Some guys are. You're not. And by the way, your guys, your two little kids, guys, gals, whatever they are, they're fine. You guys, for a season, if you need to financially, both can work. And with your increased income and her full-time income, you can get some good childcare. Some really good childcare. Go find a really nice, trustworthy grandmother that lives near you who misses her grandbabies, and she raised great kids, and she's trustworthy, and you don't have to send them to daycare. There is a way to do this. And if you can get back full-time and your wife can go part-time and be at home, great too. But there's no crisis. You just lack confidence because you weren't clear. But my friend, now you're clear, aren't you?
Definitely. That helps me solidify what I actually wrote down today when I was doing my assessment.
Tell me what you wrote down. I want to hear this.
Yeah. The mission part, actually, because I went through the talent, passion, mission, and what I really love is the problems. It's helping them, impact their life positive way, whether it's physically, spiritually, financially, mentally, relationally.
That's it.
And basically knowing the solution I've gone through, their problems that they're going through, I can help them.
Yeah,
and so all those different aspects that you just hit, it helped me a lot.
Yeah, that's it. That's beautiful. And you know what's great? You and your wife are in great shape. You're saving for a house, right? That's what we call baby step 3B, right?
Yes, sir.
So you guys are in good shape. I mean, you're in great financial shape. So you need to get employed. And you guys need to figure out the childcare situation, and then the wife, and all that will fall into place. Okay? But my man, you need to start looking for opportunities. Now that's get clear, stage 1. We just got you to stage 1. You're through it. You're ready. Now it's about getting qualified. And so if you want to be a SmartVestor Pro eventually for Ramsey Solutions, you know what it takes to get qualified. If you don't, go figure it out. It's not difficult.
Well, what if I told you I just signed up yesterday for the financial coaching?
Great. I would say that's awesome. I would say, is that in your sweet spot? Let you answer the question. Is that in your sweet spot?
I'm in it. I mean, I'm invested.
Absolutely it is. My point is it's coaching. That's something you were created to do. So yeah, we've got a world-class financial coach master training program here at Ramsey. Walk it out. Doesn't mean you're going to do that full time, but I like that you're in it. Walk it out. But I would also get in touch with about 5 or 6 SmartVestor Pros in Baltimore. Say, hey, I'm a Ramsey guy. I'm walking Dave's steps out. I'd actually contact your SmartVestor Pro and say, hey, can I do lunch or coffee with you? I want to know what it takes. What's it like? What's a day in the life like? Can I shadow you? That's how we get confirmation. All right, we're rolling along here. Lot to do. So, Joe, a really quick break. I don't know if you can make it that 30 seconds faster than normal because I'm on fire. When we come back, got some in the news and update, and then I want to teach to those of you who feel like you don't have anything to offer this world. This is the Ken Coleman Show. We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs.
We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org.
We absolutely believe in it.
Welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show, where we help you get clear so you can get qualified and then get connected and then get started and then get promoted and then get the dream job to then work like nobody else, or very few, shall I say, and truly give yourself away. Those are the 7 stages right there. Think of that as the 7 stages up the mountain. Each stage on the mountain, your professional pinnacle, what you were created to do. So what stage are you in? Let's get you to the next stage. By the way, if you're not sure, ask Amanda when you call in. They'll tell you. And you know what, Madison, the producer, I want more and more people. Let's prompt them. Let's get them there. All right, Ken, I'm in this stage. Boom, great. All right. What do we have left to do to make it to the next stage? Joe, this is really interesting stuff. Can't wait to get to this news. Let's go. All right, so I try to bring you up to the minute, up to the day information that affects you on your professional journey. So this stuff is super important, and I got to tell you, I think this information needs to be used. This is from the Morning Brew. U.S. job openings have surged to a 2-year high in February. That's the amount of jobs that are right now available. They're surging. And I knew this was going to happen, but let's look specifically, because I told you this was going to happen, and let's show you where they're surging. Specifically in your, let's call it hospitality industry, which would include restaurants, bars, hotels, tourism industry, okay? So these are usually lower wage, or maybe not lower wage, but they are lower wage and hourly wage positions, but massive opportunities. And this is why U.S. companies are having trouble hiring. I'll give an example. You ready for this? This is amazing. On October the 21st, Taco Bell is going to be holding interviews in thousands of parking lots across the United States. I didn't say they're giving away free tacos. Please don't misunderstand me. They do that every once in a while. This is not a free chalupa. But Taco Bell is got a goal on April the 21st, Madison, to hire 5,000 people in a single day. Like, Taco Bell needs so many workers that they're like, okay, April the 21st, come to this parking lot, and you don't have to get out of your car. They're going to interview you in your car. It's the drive-through interview. I've never even heard of this, Madison. You drive up. Here's what'll be funny to me. How many times will people drive up, do the interview, and then go, hey, is there any way I can get a number 3? Don't do that. If you're going to go work at Taco Bell, which, by the way, if you've got a young person in your family's job, I would send them. I'd send your kid dressed in their Sunday best, not a suit and tie, but scrub them up, stick them in the car, and I'll bet you your 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old kid could get a job that day. It's not just Taco Bell. The CEO of Johnny Rockets, owner Fat Brand, said, our staffing situation is a nightmare. We can't get people to come work. Listen to this. This is not just hourly workers. United Airlines told staff it plans to hire hundreds of pilots to meet the growing itch to travel. Delta had to cancel 100 flights over Easter weekend because they didn't have enough pilots. Factory activity in the U.S. hit its highest level in 37 years in March. But it would have been higher if there had been enough workers to work the production lines. Again, folks, if you want to get stable and just kind of reset, there's no shame in your game. All work is honorable. I'd be working in a factory right now. It's a good paying job with benefits. So why are we not having any workers? Here's the deal. Business owners are pointing to the extra unemployment benefits from the $1.9 trillion stimulus package, and it's keeping workers at home. When the job, and listen, the reason is because the extra benefits are more than they would make on the job. But I'm telling you, eventually, these stimulus packages are going to stop and they're going to run out, and you're going to have to get back to work. And so the reality is, though, is some of you are making more on unemployment than you would if you went to work. That's a policy problem. I don't care which side of the aisle you're on. It just is. And it's not going to last. And I'm going to tell you right now, when you see the job market tighten, which it will, because people are looking and nobody's wanting to get hired, you put yourself out there, you're actually going to get paid more. Right now, the companies are willing to pay you more because they need workers. Don't just assume your unemployment benefits are the better deal and then you're going to get back to work. That's bad strategy. Bad strategy. 844-747-2577 is the number. Okay, I want to close today's show. I'm going to touch on this real quick because I know that there are people watching right now, whether it's live or you're watching later, or you've got a friend or a loved one who has been really down for a long time. Maybe it's something that was said to them. Maybe they got mistreated at work and they left because it was toxic. Maybe they were fired for the wrong reason. It was just awful boss. I don't know. Maybe they did something morally and they had a fall. Maybe they've made really bad financial decisions and they're way behind the eight ball. Maybe their relationships, whether a marriage or a dating relationship, was explosive and it broke up and they're just down. And they feel like damaged goods. I want to speak to you for just a moment. Because whether I came up with your scenario or not, or I've been able to accurately describe what you're going through, I do know that some of you out there, some of you know people that need to hear this, and I want you to forward this to them. Literally hit share right below the video window and say, watch the last 4 minutes of this deal. At 40 minutes after, 40 minutes into the show, he starts talking to you. Forward it to him. What I'm telling you is I know there are people out there that feel as though they've lost their worth. I'm not worth much. And when you start feeling that way, you start to really doubt that you have a purpose, that you're, not only has your worth been damaged, your why has been taken from you. I'm here to tell you that's not true. It's not true. So when I was growing up, I lived in a lower middle class home. We didn't have much money. And as I got older, 10, 11, 12, I began to realize that my mom and dad would always take us to these flea markets. And when you're younger, you just didn't pay attention. I was always griping and complaining. My dad would drag me to these flea markets and antique stores. Why are we going to the store? What I now know is that was the way my mom and dad got nice furniture. But they would inevitably walk into a garage sale, a flea market, an antique store. And as I got older, I began to realize, and now my wife and I do it because we enjoy restoration so much. And so I watched my parents do this. And so they would go in and they would see a piece of furniture that was being discarded. If it's at a flea market or a garage sale, listen to me, the owner of that furniture is given up on it. They have devalued it. They once paid top price for it, or a higher price, and now they've discounted it really low because they want to get rid of it. Stay with me on this. So you could walk in and you could see a piece of furniture that's got a $50 sticker on it, and you know good and well that was probably several $100s, couple $100 at some point. Somebody's given up on it. Why? It's damaged. It's old. Been used. Whatever. And yet, someone could walk in like me and see that and go, wait a second. That's solid right there. That's a solid piece of furniture, Joe. You know what that needs? Some attention. Some repair. Woo! It gets good, Joe. So here we go. If you're feeling that way right now, like you've been discarded, like you've been given up on, like you've been discounted, I want you to hear the process that I watched my mom and dad do. So I'm simplifying the process to 4 steps for restoration. Number 1, they would strip the furniture. They'd get the furniture, and if it had old stain on it or paint, they would strip it. They would strip it down. In other words, get all the junk off. Stains, old paint, old lacquer, whatever. They'd get it off. They'd strip it. That's step one. Number two, then they would clean it. After they get all the junk off, they got to clean it, wipe it down. And here's the line, Joe. They would prepare it so it could be repaired. They would prepare to repair. See, you got to get the junk off first, then you got to get cleaned up. If you've ever fallen in a big old thing of mud, you don't just start showering right away. You get sprayed off, get all the mud off, then we're going to go get the soap. So they clean it. Step three, they would repair it. Wood filler in the holes. Hardware if it needed new hinges, Joe, or handles. Sanding off. Once you do that, once you get the holes filled, you got to sand it. We're repairing it. We are in the true process now we're getting closer and closer to restoration. And the final step is they will put that multiple coats of stain on it and get it really, really close to its original state. And sometimes it looked better. They would restore it to its original glory. What I want you to hear is when you see furniture restored or a car restored or a house, what was given up on by someone else has now been turned into or returned to its original glory, and that's you. You are a child of God. You were created on purpose with talent, things that you do really well, and your failure has not removed that talent. You were created with passion. When your heart comes alive and beats out of your chest when you think about a certain type of work, when you're in the middle of it, world stops. Time disappears. You love the work, the role. That's passion. And then you were gifted by your Creator with a sense of mission, a desire to make a difference. Results that matter deeply to you. That, folks, is mission. And I can tell you, no matter what has happened to you, been done to you, what you did to yourself, you're in the shame and you haven't walked out of that shame. You're like it's in a cave and you're afraid to come out because you think you're not worth anything anymore. And I'm telling you, you need to strip that off. Strip that junk off. Get clean. Get healthy. Fix what needs to be fixed. Put a fresh coat. Walk out of that cave because your purpose has not disappeared. Your worth is as much as it ever was. You know why they call it an antique when you look it up? It's not old, dilapidated piece of furniture that nobody wants anymore, Joe. The definition is something of great value because of its age. What about your value because of your experience? The path that you've been on, even with a lot of failure that we're talking about, you're now equipped to help others either avoid it or overcome it. Woo, that's good. There's great value in antiques because they've stood the test of time. They've been restored to their original glory. And now they're even more valuable than when they were first created. Grab this. Accept this. Begin this process to restoring yourself. And if you need to call me, I'll talk you through it. We'll talk about the steps of restoration because you matter. You have what it takes. And I believe in you. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.